Today I asked the age-old question, am I a real musician? So it was about 10 years ago that I came back to playing piano after having rage quit at a really young age. And when I came back, I taught myself piano, guitar, a little bit on how to sing, and I would say since that time, I've been dabbling in everything, just trying to become a better music producer. However, because of the way I found myself here, I really haven't had much of any formal training. Most of my experience comes from playing with bands or just teaching myself while I'm trying to write songs. And honestly, I'm super happy with where I've ended up and everything I've been able to learn. But if I wasn't looking for my validation in other people's opinions, can I even call myself an artist? So today, I'm turning towards the only source I can fully trust, Yale University's music lab, and they have a test to test my musical IQ. So what I want to find out today is that by skirting any learning or classical training, have I completely failed as a musician, or will I end up with a decent musical IQ? Let's jump into it. This experiment has no known risk or anticipated direct benefits. So this isn't going to make me better or worse. Crap. Have I played this game before? No. Think about how you feel while you listen to music. In general, how much do you enjoy music? I would actually say I listen to music a little less than a lot of other artists I know, but I do enjoy listening to music very much. I think very much. I mean, I'm always happy listening to music pretty much, except when I'm playing music. So how good do you think your music listening skills are? Things like remembering melodies, hearing out tunes, or hearing a beat that's out of sync with the music. Okay, I'm much worse than other people or much better than other people. So I'm gonna base my answer off of so many performances having come off stage thinking like, wow, we screwed up. We were so bad. This was the worst we've ever played. And then like saying that to someone and they're like, I didn't even notice. Like genuine, just like, I'm gonna say I'm much better. I'm certainly not the best. I'm pretty good. Like if middle's like the average person. I'm pretty far above average, but like certainly not the greatest. First, we'll play you a calibration tone. Listen to the tone and turn the volume up on your device until the calibration tone is loud but a comfortable level. Okay. Oh! Immediately copyright strike. Country. United States. English. Yes. Spanish. No. There are lots of ways to engage listening to music, like listening on music on headphones, singing, playing an instrument, or dancing. Each question is about a specific musical skill or trait, like tapping to the beat. Together, these questions will help us study a musical phenotype to learn how people are musically similar or different to one another. I can tell when people sing or play out of time with the music or beat. I mean, always, I would say. It's hard to say, like, if I didn't notice it, I didn't notice it, so it's hard to know that I didn't notice it. I'm gonna say always. I enjoy music. I'm gonna say very often, because sometimes, maybe I don't enjoy music. Nah, I'm gonna say always. Music makes me dance. Rarely. I'm not a person that's super physical with the music. I like to play, but like moving my body, no. I have absolute pitch. Absolute pitch is the ability to recognize and name an isolated musical tone without a reference. E.g., being able to say F sharp if someone plays that note on the piano. No. I would almost say never. I want to say sometimes I could like be in the ballpark. I think I have a good ear for it, but absolute pitch, probably never. I can't help humming or singing along to the music that I like. Oh, very often. I have a good sense of rhythm when I listen, play, or dance to music. I would say I'm very good at rhythm. I'd say I'm better at rhythm than I am at like melody, for example. So I'm gonna say very often. When I hear the beginning of the song, I know immediately whether I heard it or not. Yeah, this is a game we used to play as kids. A song would come on the radio and we'd all compete. My dad was really good at it, and I think this built this skill in my head. Yeah, I would say not always, because sometimes I get got, but I'm gonna say always, actually. I'm gonna say always. I have a piece of music stuck on repeat in my head. Very often. Music gives me shivers or goosebumps. Very often. I can tap in time with the musical beat. Yeah, I mean, I hesitate to say always because I know there's some really weird like polymeter stuff that may be really difficult for me, but I'm gonna go ahead and say always because I think generally speaking, outside of experimental music, yeah, I wouldn't have trouble. I can lose myself in music. I would say not as much, maybe sometimes. I don't think I'm a person who gets like, I'm not quite as like maybe emotional with music, so I would say sometimes I can really lose myself in music, just like playing by myself or like listening to Les Mis, but it's not the most common thing. I can tell when two melodies are the same or different. Man, I feel like if I say yes to this and then later they're gonna like play me two melodies, I'm gonna get it so wrong. I'm gonna say very often. I might be being too arrogant right now. I'm able to hit the right notes when I sing along with the recording. A few years ago, even though I had been playing for a long time, I definitely couldn't, even though sometimes I may feel like I could. I would say most of the time I probably can. I'm gonna go ahead and sometimes. I don't think I'm a great vocalist, but usually I'm aware when I can't hit the notes, which I think puts me closer. I'm gonna go with sometimes. I make up new melodies in my mind. Yeah, I mean, all the time. I can sing or play a song from memory. I don't know the extent of this question. Like, does it mean like if I heard a song once, I can just sit down and play it? Like, no, I'm not that good. But if I've played a song, most of the time, I would say yes, I could probably play it again. Like, it's usually there somewhere in my mind. I'm gonna go ahead and say very often. Maybe a little bit of an arrogant answer. I can tell when people sing out of tune. I mean, yeah, very often. I can tell when two rhythms are the same or different. Yeah, I mean, always. Tell us about the place where I'm playing this game. I'm alone. It's night. It's dark. I think I heard the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man!
In this game, you'll take parts of 3 short tests on musical ability. Each of these tests is separate from one another and is about a different musical ability. Beat perception, tuning perception, and melodic discrimination. You will earn points by listening carefully and answering the questions about the music we play. In the end, we'll give you your musical IQ. On each question, you will hear the same music played twice with different beep tracks. Your job is to choose which music had beeps that were the most on beat. Don't worry if you find the questions difficult, aren't sure of the answer. It's always okay to make a guess. In fact, most people do the best on this test when they don't think too hard about the answers and just follow their intuition. I think that's probably true of most listening tests. But yeah, let's do it. Second, absolutely second was, yeah, definitely second was on beat. Second again. Oh gosh. That was definitely harder. I feel like the second was more on beat again. I'm just scared to pick second 3 times in a row. It really felt like the hi-hat that I was hearing was just like right on with the beep. That was close. That was really good. Ooh, those were both really close. I think it's second again, though. Okay. Whew. That was really... I think the first one was on beat. Ooh, ooh. It's weird. The way the second beep almost felt like more natural, but I think it may have been the one that was off beat, but it almost felt more natural to me. Like almost like it was like a little behind. You know, like if you're like playing like the ride, like just a little behind or something. That was the first one that actually feels really hard to me. I kind of feel like the first one was on beat. Okay, should never think. I feel like the first one was... That was pretty close to on beat if it wasn't. Second. Second, for sure. Oh, that's got to be the off one, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. That one was really clear. The first one felt really weird. Watch me be wrong. Okay. I think second. Can't imagine. Ooh. They both felt the same to me. I'll go second again. I think first that time. That felt a little better on the first. Yeah. First. I don't know. That definitely feels... Oh, that was second? Okay. That didn't feel bad. Second? Okay. Didn't feel on. You know, I didn't like how the click felt on either of those. I don't know what that says about me. That they both didn't feel good to me. I'm gonna go second again. I thought it might be the first. Okay. Gosh. I think I got 3 wrong. That's not good. I thought I'd crush the beat one. Okay, moving on. Test number 2. This test is about hearing melodies in music. For each question on this test, you will hear the same tune 3 times. Each time, the tune will be in a different key. One of the tunes will be the odd one out. Its notes have changed. Your job is to choose the odd one out. Okay, I think I could do this. Okay, take a breath because those last 15, there's no pause. It's just like bang, bang, bang. Focus, focus, focus. I'm going in the zone right now. That was different. Oh, crap. I think 2 is the different one. Yeah. Two again? Okay. Sounded the same. Scary. Hopefully 3 is different. 3 was different, right? Those intervals weren't the same. That's gotta be 3. It's gotta be 3. Yes. That's different. That middle note was, right? Okay, I think there's a half step in one and a full step in the other. But I still remember what the first one was. I'm pretty sure it was 2 again. Yeah. Okay. Oh, gosh. I don't feel clear on... I'm gonna go 1. It's so long. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Part of me is just leaning towards 1. I'm like just based on the gut feeling. I didn't hear it. I didn't hear the difference though. If there was a difference, I missed it. I go with 1. Okay. I think 1 again. Sounded the same. Oh, I think it's 3. I think 3 had it clearly. I got that note after the. I think it's 3. Yes. Oh gosh. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, I'm not good at this. What? Okay. 3. I'm falling apart. It's bad. They sound the same. I just gotta go with like a feeling that maybe it gave me a slightly different feel. But I'm not like in the first 5. I was like I heard the note that was different pretty clearly, and these I'm just like I think 3 felt a little different. I think those were different. I think 1 and 2 were different. I think 3 was like 2. Actually, I think the melody was better in 1. Ah! I thought I was getting the clean sweep. Come on. Okay. This test is about hearing tuning in music. For each question in this test, you will hear 2 examples of the same music. Sometimes the singer will sing in tune with the music, but in other clips, the singer will be out of tune with the music. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to choose the example where the singer is more out of tune. I have the most fear right here because I felt like the questions that I answered at the start were like, can you tell when someone's out of tune? I was like, yeah, I can. I don't know, dog.
Like many men I can behave.
Okay.
Like many men I can behave.
I mean, I think the second is a lot more out of tune.
I could fly through the sky on the open sea.
Okay.
I could fly through the sky on the open sea.
Second? That sounds out of tune. Oh, gosh.
Could say as it turns how it's perfect for you. Could say as it turns how it's perfect for you.
Second?
How much I'll miss you, only time will tell. How much I'll miss you, only time will tell.
The second sounds... It sounds more out of tune?
You're here, we're here tonight.
That sounds out of tune.
You're here, we're here tonight. Oh.
The first sounded more out of tune to me. The harmonies don't sound off. Okay, that sounds... If it's not 2, I'm gonna throw myself out my window, which is 2 feet from the ground. It's gotta be... Okay. 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 I like her voice. I think the first one sounded just a little worse.
It's bad enough when one has got a hold on you, but 2 for 2, these 2
This is
have
cool.
got me singing the blues. It's bad enough when one has got a hold on you, but 2 for 2, these 2 have got me singing the blues.
I think the second one, right? Oh my gosh!
Stay as long as you like. It's a sad vocation. Stay as long as you like. It's a sad vocation.
I don't know. The second one felt more out of tune, but I've lost all self-confidence.
You say, oh, what if she loves you? She might be thinking of you, wants you around anyway.
It wasn't... That's pretty close if it's out of tune.
You say, oh, what if
It's gotta be number 2.
she might be thinking of you?
If it's not number 2, I like out of tune music. Like, don't sing in tune for me. Seems out of tune. I feel like I hope this. I just feel like they're both out of tune. Maybe it does say more out of tune. I feel like they're both out of tune. I think the second one I liked less. Okay. It's a little out. You know, that vocal's so quiet in that mix. It's really hard to determine. I think the first one was a little worse.
You and I
Thank you.
seem
Present vocal.
moving with a dream.
Great, beautiful voice. Beautiful.
You and I had seen moving with a dream.
They both sounded real good to me. Okay, I'm gonna base this obviously I'm gonna be wrong. It's just gonna make me sound even dumber. I'm gonna base this on this. I thought I might have heard just a little distortion on the second one, like from some pitch changing. So I think the second one, it didn't sound that out of tune to me. I don't know what this says about me. Maybe I just don't sing in tune, but the second, neither of them sounded really out of tune. I'm gonna go second. It sounded like a modified. Definitely number 2. This one feels obvious. Of course, I'll be wrong, but this one definitely feels like the second is out. Okay, number 2. Oh, guys, that test. I thought that would be like one of the easier ones, but man, I think the hardest thing is the ones where they both felt out of tune. I don't think I have a strong perception. I'm sure if it was wildly off, I would tell. I don't think I had a strong perception of which was more out of tune on those. Some of them where it felt like it was in tune and not in tune, that felt much easier. Nice work on the 3 tests. We have just a few questions before we compute your scores. On an average day, how much time do you spend making music? This could be by yourself or with other people. I'm probably a 2 to 4 hour person. Like, I play pretty much every night for at least an hour, but then there are like weekends where I'll get like 4 or 5 in to really swing this. So I'm gonna say 2 to 4 hours. On average day, how much time do you spend listening to music and watching videos that include music? I would say I listen to music a lot in the background during my job, so I'm gonna go ahead and say 1 to 2 hours. Have I ever taken music lessons? I'm gonna say no, which is a little dishonest because I have, but I took piano lessons for about 6 months, and that was several years before I even got into music, I would say. It doesn't have a lot of bearing on any of my musical knowledge or experience. I'm gonna go ahead and say no to this, even though it's technically not true. Think of your skill at making music, using an instrument or singing. How would you rate my own skill? I would say no skill at all, no. I don't think I'm not a novice anymore. I have some skill, I have a lot of skill, or I'm an expert. I don't think I'm an expert. I know many musicians a lot better than me. I definitely don't think I'm a novice. I think it's either some or a lot of skill. I think this is a hard thing to evaluate. If I maybe was in a group of like 10 random friends of mine, I think most of them would feel that I had a lot of skill because I can play several instruments and sing. But if I was in a room with a lot of musicians, they would have more of an understanding. Like, I'm very beginner at most of the things I do. And I'm gonna go ahead and say I have a lot of skill, but like a high-end amateur. That's what I'm gonna call myself. If you think about a sound, such as a dog barking, someone's voice, or a tune, to what extent can I hear the sound in my mind? I would say like a really high. As clear as hearing it, maybe not, but like I'm just like a 6. I'm very much like my memory is very like I hear what it sounds in my memory. I think I even remember pitch to a degree, though not like perfect pitch level, but like I remember pitch like that. If you think about a scene such as a sunrise or the appearance of a familiar person or place, to what extent can I visualize? I almost as vivid as actually seeing it. I mean, I don't think I'm fully photographic where if everything I've ever seen I can immediately see back in my head, but that is how I remember things. It's extremely visual. I tend to remember pretty specific. I'm gonna go with a 6. What is my household income? 10 million, baby. If you want to help me raise this household income, I got a bunch of new singles dropping real soon, so get subscribed because I'm gonna do a bunch of singles, then I'm gonna drop an album maybe early next year, so get subscribed. I'm really excited to finally get to share a bunch of my music with you all, so don't miss out. I'm gonna prefer not to say. Would I like to participate in a follow-up study? Please enter my email address. Sure, I've enjoyed it for the content, so hit me up, baby. My estimate of my musical IQ is 118. We estimated your score the same way as real IQ tests do. Based on all the other people who have taken the test, we set 100 as the average score following a normal distribution with a standard deviation of 15. That means that most people, 68% of them, score between 85 and 115. And nearly everybody, 95% of people, scores between 70 and 130. I'm average. This is a new test, however, and so if you didn't do very well, don't worry. The test might be wrong. And yeah, the test is probably wrong. It wasn't me. And you might have been a bit tired or distracted. We also don't know if the scores on this test predict how much people enjoy music. We suspect they don't. If you'd like to try again to see if your score changes, please go ahead. Here are some more detailed scores on the 3 subtests. Beat alignment, 116. Okay, that's about where my overall score. My melodic discrimination, baby. Even though on some of those, I really wasn't sure. I felt the difference more than I heard. Like, I could tell you, like, this note was different. Every single one. I am flawless human at my melodic discrimination. My mistuning perception was the most shameful outing at 104. That's real rough. There it is. There I am in the cloud of all the others. So pretty much, I am completely average. I am not special, but, you know, not terrible either, which is kind of what I was worried about. I was like, ooh, if I do something from Yale, is this going to be, like, highly skewed towards people that have, like, classical background and are really good, and then I'm just going to be, like, a complete joke? So at least that didn't happen. I would assume a lot of the participants on this are musicians just because of the field of interest, so I bet it's probably skewed a little towards, you know, people that are already musical as opposed to the general public, but that could be a completely incorrect assumption. It looks like they have actually published some papers based on this research, so definitely head over to themusiclab.org and check it out and take the test yourself and let me know down in the comments how you scored. I will leave all the links you need down in the description below, and while you're down there, don't forget to like the video and share it with someone. That helps the channel out so much. Thank you, and I'll see you here next week. Bye.